way to start a day. 0 degrees. Well, it's pretty much that where I am. Perhaps it's warmer where you are. But whatever it is, today's a great day simply because we've started a new year, a new financial year. And with a new financial year, I like to think that we're probably having lots and lots of new goals set. And if we aren't, why not? If we've set our goals on a calendar year, that's fine. But financial year is often a good time to reflect on what we actually achieved over the last year and evaluate what actually happened. And along with everything else, it's really important, I think, to remember that we can't control the outcome of whatever it is that we actually seek to achieve, which makes it a really difficult thing to understand for a lot of folks, and I don't blame them one bit. I remember that it took a long time for me to understand that the outcome of what was to be achieved couldn't be controlled. What was important was to control the activity, and then to look even earlier than that. It was important to identify what activity needed to be undertaken in order to achieve a given outcome, and then to decide if it was worthwhile undertaking all of that activity to achieve that particular outcome. And from there, were we actually applying ourselves to achieve the outcome that we really wanted? Maybe we weren't trying hard enough. Not insofar as the activity, because generally speaking we all undertake lots of activity and we try very hard, but perhaps we're not setting our goals high enough. Perhaps we can achieve more without necessarily undertaking more activity. Complicated, I know. It's enough to upset a whole bunch of folks. Makes your mind wonder what's going on. And that brings us to probably the most important part of staying motivated and achieving goals. It's all about what we think. As Henry Ford has reportedly said, think you can or think you can't, you're right. When it comes down to it, it's all about what we think. And what we think determines what we do. What we do determines what we say determines how people react to us, and so on and so forth, until right through we can follow that little saying right through to why we achieve what we achieve, why we don't achieve what we don't achieve. It's a simple little thing at the end of the day, but it takes a complicated way of finding precisely what it all means. Now, ideally, what we want to do when we want to set ourselves an objective or a goal for the coming period, and whatever period that is, it doesn't have to be a year, might be a week, might be a day, might be a morning. Whatever it is that we want to set ourselves as a goal, we want it to be something that is really important to us, because if it's not important to us, we're going to give up on it really quickly. So pick something that's really important to you, and I like to think of it as something that inspires you. Not motivates you, inspires you. Motivation, it seems to be something that comes and goes, it waxes and wanes. Inspiration doesn't. If we're inspired to do something, we just go and do it. We don't question, are we motivated to do this? We're inspired to do it, so we just go and do it. So pick something that inspires you. Now look to, have I tried to achieve this before? If you've tried to achieve something before and you've failed, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. What it means is you didn't achieve what you set out to achieve, and there will be reasons for that. So if you look back and you review the activity that was undertaken, perhaps the answer lies in there. And in reviewing whatever activity was undertaken, now we evaluate it. And in evaluating it, we've got to be seriously objective. very, very clear on what it was that we actually did. Did we undertake the activity in the right way? Perhaps we weren't approaching the right prospects. Whatever the reasons, they are in the activity that we undertook. So if we achieved more than what we set out to do, that's great, but let's examine why, so that we know that next time we can either achieve more or we don't have to do quite as much if we don't want as much. Reviewing, evaluating, all very, very important in terms of achieving one's goals. Because here we are at the start of the financial year, it's as good as time as any to reset goals and objectives, to find out, what did we do last time? What did we do last quarter? Did we do what we wanted to do? Did we set goals? Maybe we didn't. And maybe we didn't achieve anything. Perhaps there's a message in that. So let's look at all of these things. And when you set your goal, evaluate what it is that you want it for. Why do you want this goal? Because if it's not going to inspire you, perhaps we don't want to bother. Perhaps it's not worthy of the effort. And if it's not, we'll find a way to not achieve it. We do that on a regular basis. So if it comes down to it's all about what you think, and it does, we've got to look at, why are we doing what we're doing? Are we doing things because it's a habit? Now, if we're doing things because it's a habit, that's great, because habit is perhaps our most supportive thing that we can have going on for us, because we don't have to think about it. However, if we've created a habit, not because we thought about creating a habit, but because we allowed a habit to be created, that might not be doing us good. Look clearly at what you do as habit. If the habits are not doing what you need done in order for you to achieve what you want to achieve, we've got to change that habit, and we've got to change it pretty quick. It's not difficult, by the way, to change a habit. What's difficult is recognizing that you're doing something as a habit and that it's not helping. That's the hard part. Changing the habit is actually easy. Do we kick out the old habit? The easiest way to change a habit is to create a new one. Don't worry about the old one that's there. It will be shifted off because you put the new one in place. So habit, really, really important in everything that we do. Saves us a lot of time, saves us a lot of effort, because we don't have to think about it. But make sure that we're using the right habit to deliver the outcomes that we want. So set your goals, understand clearly what's required to achieve the goal. No rose-coloured glasses here. Just understand clearly what activity you have to undertake to achieve your goal. Practice the activity. Monitor and evaluate your performance. Adjust as necessary. Most times there's something to be adjusted, because habits creep in without us paying attention. If we pay attention, we don't allow the habits to creep in, and sometimes when they creep in, they do us damage. So let's get off to a great start to this new financial year. Let's get off to a great start to this week. Set clear goals, evaluate your performance, and just have fun.